Hey everybody, welcome back to the Salty Gamer channel. Today I'm testing the FSR3 Frame Generation Mod inside the game Jusant. Now this game is a Unreal Engine 5 game, and you know Unreal Engine is kind of infamous for sometimes being unoptimized and stuff. However, I think this game Jusant I think it's pretty well optimized because as you can see in the overlay, I'm running the game at 1440p. The CPU and the GPU is listed there. This time I've also included the amount of VRAM and the system RAM that I have, and also a bunch of other information such as the real-time frame rate, the 0.1% low, 1% low, and the average frame rate counter seems to be broken, so ignore that. Alright, so let's see the settings. So as you can see, we're at 1440p. The anti-aliasing by default uses the Unreal Engine's TSR, and I believe the slider resolution quality set to the max should be, I guess, 100%. So basically the internal resolution is the same as what it says here. And also, like I said, this game is pretty well optimized because, as you can see, I'm running all maximum settings. And if I drop down to 1080p, this game should run pretty well between 50 to 60 frames per second. But for the sake of this video, to test frame generation on my RTX 2060 Super, I'm running the game at 1440p, and surprisingly it struggles to keep at 30 FPS, to be honest. Also, this is like the very beginning of the game, so I don't know if there'll be more demanding areas, but for now it seems to be running at around 30 FPS. So let me just run around here. The frame rates are okay, so maybe it's not a good idea to run the game at 1440p natively on my 2060 Super. It probably dips down below 20 FPS on demanding areas, but as you can see, the frame times, I do not have VSync enabled, and at this frame rate I don't see a lot of tearing, but when I go down to 1080p, I see a lot of image tearing. The frame times are about 30, 33, 35 milliseconds, and I don't know if you notice the Unreal Engine 5 stutters, but I don't notice it, but a lot of people say that a lot of Unreal Engine games, especially 5, have these micro stutters. But maybe it's just because I'm running it at a really high frame rate. High resolution and all that. Okay. So now I'm going to enable DLSS. Now, this game actually has a ultra quality setting for DLSS 3. What's weird about DLSS 3 in this case is this ultra quality setting doesn't seem to affect my performance. So I applied it. Let's go back to the game. It seems to be the exact same performance, not gonna lie. So I think the ultra quality setting, at least in this game for DLSS, I think it's just broken or something, or maybe this is supposed to be DLAA, where you apply, I guess, the deep learning super sampling to the native resolution. But that should be more demanding, no? But anyway, so now we can drop down to quality, and remember, DLSS quality runs the game at 66% of the internal resolution, and I believe quality setting for 1440p, I think the internal resolution should be 1080p. Correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'll put something on the screen for that. Okay, so now we'll enable that. So now the game is running at about 40 high 40s to mid 50s frames per second, and the 1% lows and all that, maybe it's a bug. They're not updating. I'll probably have to mess with my overlay later, but yeah, we can run this game at 1440 in running it at 1080p and upscaling to 1440 on my 2060 Super, it seems. However, I don't know if you notice on the recording and on YouTube, and after I encode the video. Okay, so now we're going to try and enable frame generation. Now, this is the same mod that I presented last time in Cyberpunk 2077, and I think the version of this mod has been updated to 0.8, I think, and that was yesterday, so on the 23rd of December. So please do go and check that mod out. Please, I guess, give some appreciation to the person who has been making this mod. Thanks to them, RTX 20 and 30 series owners get to play around with FSR3 Frame Generation. And the best part about that is you don't have to use FSR upscaling with this mod. You can use DLSS upscaling and then generate the fake frames with FSR3 Frame Generation. And this game has a really weird file structure, so later on I'll show you how to install this mod into this game, Jusant. If you like, you can skip to this timestamp that I'll put on the screen. I'll probably do that later. Okay, so now I'm going to enable frame generation at this DLSS quality, internal res, 1080p. Okay. So now the game looks a lot smoother. We're generating up to about 87, 85 FPS, and I think if we move our mouse rapidly around, I think FSR3 has this thing where it tones down the frame generation a bit. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Let me just walk around this area. I still see a little bit of screen tearing. Also, the input lag is great. I mean, I don't feel really bad input lag. If somebody gave this to me and said VSync is not enabled, I would be like, okay, that's fine. However, I do still see a lot of screen tearing. Okay, now for a brief visual quality check. So I'm going to go back and disable frame generation. And by the way, in this game, when you enable frame generation, the Nvidia reflex low latency option grays out. I don't know if it's disabling the whole thing or locking you in, so let me try that. Okay, so that's weird. So maybe it just locks the setting. And also, when I turn on the frame generation setting, VSync, the option for VSync also gets disabled. Maybe that's a thing with either how the frame generation is implemented in this game, and also, we're using a mod, so I don't know how all of that is interacting. But anyway, so I'm gonna disable frame gen for a sec. Oh, let's go back to check. Yeah, so we're at DLSS 3 quality settings, 1440p, internal res, 1080p, and in terms of visual quality, I don't see a lot of ghosting, and I think the image is really stable. Remember, we're upscaling to 1440 from internal 1080p. Yeah, it seems pretty good. So I'm gonna go back and re-enable frame generation. Save. Okay, so now I'm using this background in particular just because it has a nice contrast with our character here. And I think... Okay, so if you look real closely, I think I'll zoom in the editing. If you look closely at the character's head, you'll see ghosting. And I think that's... And remember, this is a mod, so this isn't representative of the, you know, the true potential of FSR3 Frame Gen and also DLSS. But as you can see, there's a little bit of ghosting. So what if I went back and disable Frame Gen? Do I still see the ghosting? I think if you pixel peep, yes, there is a tiny amount of ghosting, but that is significantly less than what we just saw when frame generation was on. I have not played this game, so this is just literally the starting area, so no spoilers, right? Again, we're running this game at maximum settings, 1440p. We're using DLSS quality settings, so internal res 66% of 1440p, whatever that is, probably 1080p. And yeah, this is how it runs with the frame generation FSR3 Frame Generation Mod, just in this game Jusant, which is a cute little climbing game. I really love the art style, by the way. And yeah, I think this game is not too demanding. I mean, I'm running it at max settings, 1440p, and that's giving me 30 FPS on a 2060 Super, which is, you know, arguably like it's really cheap now if you want to get it used. $100, $150 thereabouts. So if you want to run this game at this really beautiful settings at 1080p, I mean high settings, don't go maximum, you're pretty much there. This game is pretty well optimized, I think. And frame generation mod works pretty well, I think. I haven't explored other areas. Remember, this is the start of the game, so yeah. Now I will show you how to install this mod if you want to try it on your own PC or in your own setup. Okay.